I'm really happy to provide an introduction to this section of the resource for volunteer drivers, the vast majority of whom will be community first responders, or what we call CFRs for short. We acknowledge the assistance you provide to the ambulance service and the public by responding to a range of medical emergencies in your local area. You do this under normal road conditions, using your own car, and you do not have the authority to drive under emergency conditions. I can understand if there are times when it can be frustrating to be held up on a way to what might be a life-threatening emergency, and often time is of the essence. But good CFRs know that the quickest, safest way to get to someone in difficulty is by driving in a professional manner, by observing the speed limit and the highway code. Failing to do so is against the law. You'll put yourself and other road users at risk, as well as compromising the good reputation of your CFR scheme and the ambulance service as a whole, and clearly we don't want that. Please keep up your vital life-saving work in the community, but do it safely and within the law. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello Johnny, it's Anne from the response desk here. I've got a job for you please. It's a male with 72-year-old with chest pain. Don't know whether you've actually received it on your phone, but if not, obviously it comes through to you. If there's any problems you can always call me back, and we're running a distance with the vehicles. Thank you, speak to you later, bye.
John Smith is a new CFR and he's about to be dispatched to a suspected cardiac arrest at a location around 4 miles from his home.
I've got to call you back, I've got an emergency I've got to go to. Yeah, I've just been tasked. Alright, see you in a bit, bye now. Come on, get out of the way.
Have you ever felt like that? Someone's dying and you're their only hope? In your haste to be helpful, you lose all sense of perspective. You're focused only on breaking all records to get to the scene. And as a result, whether deliberately or without realising, you're dramatically increasing the risk you face and the risk you pose to others, and you're probably breaking the law in the process. Time to calm everything down. Let's cancel John's job before he causes any more mayhem, and consider some advice that will hopefully make him a lot safer in his driving, and much more able to assist when he arrives on scene.
Well, the ambulance service certainly doesn't expect or condone people breaking the law, committing offences when responding to emergency incidents. As a CFR, you have no legal exemptions.
If they go way beyond their means and they start to get into a panic, they're not going to be driving safely. They're not going to be taking as much notice as they would do if they all calmed down. And ultimately, which means potentially they won't get to the incident they're going to. So they need to have a more responsible, more relaxed approach, because quite often you'll get there sooner, and when you do get there, you'll be in a fitter state to actually deal with any incident.
Obviously, we've got to stay within the confines of the highway code. You can't exceed speed limits, go through red traffic lights, or any other exemptions that can be afforded to a frontline ambulance driver. The main thing is to get there. We're asking you as a resource to get there. If you don't get there, you're of no use at all. So the thing is to get there safely, and when you do get there, you're in a safe state to be able to deal with the incident that's going to be presented to you. If you get there and you're wound up, or you got yourself angry, you're of no use to the person you're trying to assist.
Emergency response ambulance crews do have legal exemptions to some road traffic rules, but these only come after intense training and study, so there are very good reasons why CFRs cannot use these exemptions. Keep repeating in your mind, normal road conditions, no emergency exemptions. So let's turn our attention to other important areas connected with driving as a CFR. First, before you drive anywhere, you're responsible for ensuring your vehicle is road legal. In other words, it needs tax, MOT, if required, and insurance. As driver, you need a full current licence. Check, for example, that your photocard driving licence is in date, as these are only valid for 10 years. Have a quick think about your health as a driver. Could you, for example, be impaired by any medication you might be taking? Is your eyesight as good as it once was, or is it worth getting an eye test to ensure your eyesight meets the standards required for driving? We've emphasised that you must always drive according to the highway code, with no emergency exemptions. But what about parking? We ask that you always park somewhere legal and safe when you're attending an emergency call. Where designated parking facilities do not exist, you must be able to justify the place you've chosen to park, And remember, no one has an exemption to park in a position that could endanger others. If you're provided with signage for your vehicle, then make sure it complies with trust policy and is always used in accordance with trust policy. Right, back to join John on another job, this time with a few changes in his approach to that 4-mile journey. This time, John's ensuring his frame of mind is much more geared up to a safer journey. He spends a moment or two to plan the trip. That includes programming the sat-nav before he sets off. In the village centre, traffic is slow moving, but his calm and self-discipline means he accepts the only way is to go with the flow. At traffic lights, he waits with everyone else. There's no other option, so why waste energy growling over a delay of perhaps 45 seconds? John takes extra care when there are children going to or from school. On a stretch of road like this, even if it's a 30 limit, no one should consider driving at 30, whatever the purpose of their journey. On the open road, there's a slower driver ahead. Of course, John can overtake if it's safe and legal, but if he can't, then he's still making progress towards the emergency. John arrives at the address a good few minutes ahead of the ambulance. His discipline as a driver means he arrives calm and focused, ready to offer the help he's been trained to give. When you're heading for a medical emergency, of course you want to get there without delay, and the ambulance trust you're representing wants that too. So does the person who's called for help. But always drive safely and legally. Avoid putting yourself or others at risk when you're on your way to a call. Take a pride not only in your driving, but in maintaining a courteous, professional and calm frame of mind that puts safety first and minimises risks for everyone.